All right, folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans. Wait for it. For the fans. And I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here today for an AEW Full Gear 2020 Roundtable preview. Absolutely tremendous card we have lined up. We're going to talk about all of it from the top to the bottom, even the buy-in. But first, I have to introduce my two guests. I know we're supposed to have four, but two of them had some other issues going on that we were talking about previously. I send them my best wishes. I will keep all of your information down below, though, guys. But introduce yourselves and tell people where they can find you. Let's start with Jesse first.
What's going on, guys? My name is Jesse Carter. I host a podcast called The Pro Wrestling Shoot. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Anchor, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Basically, we just like talking wrestling, man. We cover anything pro wrestling, and we also do some interviews from time to time. Most of our podcast is loaded with interviews right now, but we're trying to transition into a little bit more just to mix things up a little bit.
Yeah, and you guys, I'm sure, have heard Jesse's ad at the end or in the middle of the podcast. So hopefully you guys get to check that out. And this one's a long time in the making, like long time in the making. My man BJ from Run the Ropes. What's going on, BJ?
Oh, not much, man. Glad to be here. As you just said, from Run the Ropes, you can find us on primarily right now Facebook, but we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're everywhere you can find us. We have episodes of a podcast. Pandemic kind of came through and wrecked that and video game streaming, but we're getting back there. We're getting back on our feet, so to speak. And this has been like the first opportunity in person, one for you and I to talk, Conrad, and then yeah, my first time like back in a while just to talk wrestling. I'm excited. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, I remember you had BJ does a lot of different things too. He didn't put himself over enough, so I got him real quick. He does like video game streams. He was doing them on Facebook, Twitch, everywhere. You were doing a podcast at one time. He was doing everything. So
I had a whole like mini G1 at the same time of doing all that. That was a very long month and a half.
Yeah. Beast. So definitely got to show these two gentlemen some respect. Their social medias are down below. Make sure you guys check them out. They're all in the descriptions. I urge you really to check out their podcast after this. But we're here to talk AEW Full Gear, the Roundtable. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Saturday's show. How are you guys feeling going into this? Let's start with Jesse first.
I think it's going to be good, man. I think it's going to be a big step up from All Out. The card looks a little bit more stacked. I'm really excited for the Bucks match. FTR, that's a long time in the making, so I'm excited for that one. A little skeptical about Chris Jericho versus MJF, but I'm sure it'll still stand, hold its own. But right. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston, I mean, it's a stacked card, man. It's looking great.
You know what? Ray just said he would have joined. You know what, Ray? Go on Twitter, check your DMs, and if you jump in this, you can jump in right now. We're live, people. I'm as live gets, I promise you. Hey, go ahead, hop on in. What's going on, guys? You know what? Big shout out to the chat. I see everybody in there. We're going to shout you guys out in 1 second, so keep the messages coming. BJ, how are you feeling going into this show?
To reiterate, yeah, from All Out, like I feel like this is going to be a big step up, and all the matches, give or take the level, they've all had at least a decent story building to them, and it's interesting matchups. Some that you've been waiting on for quite a while, some that are surprising, like Eddie Kingston getting the world title shot. Like that, I wouldn't have known that like a month ago. Like that would have been a thing. So, but they sold you very well on it. Like I'm excited for it.
I'm with you guys on that. Jesse was on the last one that we did, the roundtable for All Out. And to me, All Out, after everything was all said and done, it felt like one of those shows that it was good, but barely good. as far as like an in-ring standpoint, but there were so many things that left you feeling kind of meh. It was my most disappointing AEW pay-per-view. Jesse, how did you feel from last time going into that? Like after everything was said and done, how did you feel?
I think you nailed it right on the head, man. I mean, to me, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, but it was definitely the worst one that they have produced. So there was a couple matches that were really fun to watch. But you know, going into the card for All Out, I just did not expect it to turn out the way that it did. On paper, it looked like it was, you know, 5-star pay-per-view, but some things happened, and you know, that's just how business rolls sometimes.
You know what? I got to give them credit. They are definitely trying to make some better changes going into some of that stuff. I don't cover the news all the time because sometimes it gets a little gossipy and it gets a little weird, and you don't want to get into all that stuff about people's relationships and love life. But I will say I am happy that Tony Khan is making some changes because he's realized that something is wrong and we got to improve on these certain areas. So I will never knock someone for trying to do something a little bit more. BJ, All Out thoughts real quick.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like amongst like some of the people with RTR. I'm the big AEW guy, and I really enjoyed it. But again, it was the worst AEW pay-per-view. But compared to every AEW pay-per-view, it gets hard to top. It's kind of like how when NXT first started with their takeovers. Like, how do you know, you're going to have a few low points, even though the lows aren't super low. So.
Right. When you're comparing goodness and greatness, it's like, okay, well, what did you want? What did you want from me? I appreciate it. Let's see who's in this chat. We've got a lot of people in here. Right now we have Ace. Ace, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you, brother. We also have our good friends, Everything College Basketball. They are in the house as well. What's going on, ECB? Make sure you guys check them out. I will have their ad in on the podcast version of this as well as the Pro Wrestling Shoot, of course. And what's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us tonight. Malik Murray in the house. Malik, hold on to your questions, especially that one about Cody and Darby. We'll have to get into that once we get to that matchup here. Ray is also in the house. Hopefully Ray can join us soon here. Just waiting on his response. Speak of the devil. Look at that. Ray,
there we go.
Timing. I just said your name. You pop up. You're in here.
Just like that, guys. How's it going? Sorry to be late.
No.
It's just like wrestling. We always got to make it a little late. Sorry, guys.
Listen, you're in the business, so I'm not going to say anything to you, bro. I have no right.
That bell time might say 7:05, but it's going to be like 7:15.
Oh, you know how it is. Nah, if it's lucha time, it's even worse.
Oh, come on now.
But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk AEW, so I'm ready, guys. It's a pleasure. Thank you again, Conrad, even for the last hot tag right there. It was the last little.
Last hot tag. This is a run-in. Elijah Washington, what's going on? Sonny Bimbo in the house. Sonny, thank you so much for joining us. Sonny, take it easy. Hello to all the new friends. And I like the hashtag Manscaped. I really do. It's going to come up at some point during this. So stick around for your little advertisement for Manscaped. Benjamin says he is not a fan of the stipulation between the FTR and Young Bucks match. We'll get into that. I promise you. B-Boy Skyline is in the house as well. Thank you, Jordan. Hey, Tiff, what's going on? Good to see you in here as well.
Hi, Tiff.
Guys. I signed the okay for Ray. I appreciate you doing that for his contract. Thank you, Tiff, so much. Yeah. So let's get ready. So we just did all introductions. Ray, if you want to tell the people where they can find you, I'll let you sneak in yours real quick, and then we'll get right into this card for everybody.
Definitely, guys. You can find me on Twitch, Ray_Ramundo. I do some gaming streaming, so if you want to check that out. But also, if you want to hear us talk wrestling, I'm a part of the No Holds Barred Network. You just saw Tiff comment where she's my co-host on Under the Ropes, Indie Talks, and all that great stuff there. So again, I'm happy to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Had to throw in that little corny line there. Thanks again, Conrad, though. So that's my cheap plug for now. That's my cheap plug.
All good. All good. Let's talk wrestling. Let's talk wrestling.
Let's do it.
So we went over kind of where we were before this last pay-per-view from All Out to here. Let's talk the buy-in first. The buy-in, we have an NWA Women's Championship match. We have the NWA newly crowned Women's Champion Serena Deeb taking on Allison Kay. This is looking tremendous in my opinion. I'm dare I say I'm more hyped for this match than the AEW Women's Title match. I'm being completely honest here. But going into this one, guys, let's talk first about, does the NWA Women's Title mean more in AEW than the actual AEW Women's Title? BJ, what you got, brother?
Well, at this point in time, I feel like it's been highlighted more. I kind of talked to you about this on the post-show stream last night about, like, I've kind of got this thought that they might go, it's a little bit further than Full Gear, but depending upon how the stuff with the NWA goes, I've been seeing a lot of their talent obviously be different places right now. During the pandemic, it's kind of hard, but I'm wondering how much they're staying afloat if they're allowing an AEW signee to hold on to their title. I'm wondering if at some point it gets absorbed by the AEW Women's Title.
That would be very weird. I can't see Billy ready to give it up though, man. Billy fought really hard when he was trying to get his rights to Impact. I couldn't see him doing that at this.
I'm not necessarily saying the NWA. I'm just saying he has a few people that, like, Nick Aldis is like with him. I'm just saying, like, maybe holding on to this excess at the current moment is maybe a little bit much for the pockets while you've got stuff going on.
I see. You're saying have TK bankroll it for a little bit, pay his guys, and then bring them back. I like it. That might not be a bad idea. Ray, let's go to you for this one. What do you think here for the NWA Women's Title?
I have to agree with you, Conrad, though. I'm more interested in this than the actual AEW Women's match. And it's sad in the sense that I feel like it's the nostalgia factor. I feel like that championship has its precedence already. We know about the NWA, the rich history about it, and it makes me think though that working relationship is right there. We're already having it. That's why they're using those talents where they're at. Primetime has been basically NWA at the moment, but I feel like they're at center stage right here in AEW. They've been featured twice on their pay-per-view. This is the best thing for them, but this matchup though. It's a lot. It's a lot to go, and I still don't know where this could go though. Like what they would do on. I'm glad it's on the main stage though of AEW here. We have at a main pay-per-view, so it's still hard. It's still hard to think.
Right, Jesse. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's a great looking matchup, and I'm excited that the NWA is being broadcast on AEW. But my confusion is, like, where's it going to go? You know, like this is the second time that they've been on the pay-per-view. What happens? You know, are they going to attempt to drop the belt to an AEW star, or you know what I mean? Like, where does it go from here? Are we just showcasing NWA championships, or you know? That's just my confusion with it. I think the matchup's going to be great. I just don't know what they have in store for the end game.
Right. I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Benjamin, I'm going to highlight yours real quick. He says Serena Deeb is great in the ring, and I think she's been one of the few people who have really stood out with her matchups since this whole pandemic thing has started, and they tried to bring in some new talent. She has really stood out and made something of herself because I didn't know where she was. She showed up on TV, had a great match with Thunder Rosa, had a great match when she finally let someone challenge for the NWA Women's Title. Serena Deeb is someone who I think you can utilize in a backstage role and in-ring role right now. Take advantage, AEW, of this. But let's get into some predictions, I guess, on this one. BJ, does the title switch hands here?
No. Serena Deeb's it's gonna be a good feature match. You know, they originally bumped a match to the main show for this, and on your pre-show match, you try to advertise to get onto the rest of the show. So they've got clearly a lot of faith in Serena. Allison Kay, we already know she's been the NWA Women's Champion before, so it should be a good matchup. But I think Serena's going to keep it.
Okay, all right, Ray.
I think they might do the title switch here. I think this is a little bit of the mind game of with Allison's contract expiring just in the recent few weeks too. I feel like this might be a little bit of a signing bonus, maybe to re-sign with the NWA to keep her around for a bit. And again, with that pre-show vibe, you want to make people continue to watch the show, to buy the show. It's the buy-in. You want people to buy the pay-per-view, and a shocker on the buy-in would definitely sell the card even harder. So I'm going with Allison here.
Okay. Jesse?
I don't think she's dropping the title. I think it's going to be a good little opening card, but yeah, the title's definitely going to stay with Serena.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that one. I think Serena is the right person just to keep the title on for right now. It's nice and AEW talent has it. It can still be showcased on television. People don't forget about the NWA. It's kind of a nice like reminder in the NWA. Because I missed that show when they were doing when they had the Into the Fire, when they had that intro and everything. They were crushing it, bro. And then all of a sudden it was just like poof, gone. What happened to the NWA? They're just everything scattered and people just started showing up places. So it's real tough. And we got a last second question in here about Tessa Blanchard. Is Tessa Blanchard showing up on this show? Rockstar, Malik Murray. Good question. What do you guys think here? BJ?
Not gonna happen. I don't know where Tessa's gonna wind up, but I don't think it's gonna be AEW. And I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
Okay. Ray?
It's a hard one because it would make sense, right? Her dad's there. It kind of makes sense for the Blanchards to reunite. But I think it's too early. Like, I keep seeing everyone's wondering who's going to be the debut that night or the return. But I feel like we maybe don't even need one this show. I think it's already a stacked card as is. Tessa would take away from the other two women's matches. I don't think we need that at the moment. Maybe in the future, but right now I don't see it.
Jesse?
I definitely agree with Ray on that. I don't think that this is going to happen right now, or ever. At that point, man. Like what do you? It's a win-lose situation. So, she got herself into some hot water, and I know Tony Khan is not too big on dealing with the backlash from that kind of thing. So I just don't see her ending up in AEW.
Yeah, I think there may have to be a proving period right now to see if they would want her. I'm kind of with you on that one, Jesse, for sure. But let's move into the main card, shall we? Let's talk about the next matchup, which I think could be a banger of an opener if they let this happen. This was originally on the buy-in, but got moved off, and I was like, this makes sense here. So we have Orange Cassidy, who is one of the favorites in AEW. Put your hands in your pockets, people. Versus John Silver. Now, John Silver has been the star of Being the Elite. And I know I say I don't talk about Being the Elite. This dude is freaking money. This dude is hilarious as shit. John Silver's just been crushing it. And I think he's getting an opportunity because of that. I was trying to listen to some interviews today with like Tony Khan, Cody, and everybody. And Tony Khan mentioned, I want to see that John Silver on Being the Elite on the show. And John Silver has shown up ever since he told him that. He said, so this is why he's getting this opportunity. Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. Give me your prediction, guys, and what you're expecting here in this one. Let's go reverse this time. Let's start with Jesse first.
I think Orange Cassidy will take it, man. He's been building quite the momentum as of late, and obviously coming off of All Out, that big victory over Jericho. I don't see them pushing him to lose on this one.
Right. Okay. Ray, as you see what Tiff said.
I see. That's why I just started laughing. Like, I'm sorry, Jesse. I didn't mean to laugh.
No, you're good, man.
It was just, I think John Silver's taking this one. Johnny's hungry, man. He's hungry for a win. Like John Silver needs this win. I don't think it would hurt Orange Cassidy here. I don't think it hurts him with this loss, especially maybe some shenanigans. I don't see it being a clean win either for John Silver. I do see it being a very technical matchup. I hope Orange taps into a little bit of his technical prowess here in this matchup, and we're going to see some kicks because John Silver can throw some devastating kicks in there. So I'm going with John Silver.
BJ.
I'm going to go with Orange Cassidy. I think we're kind of in a situation like if we bring logic into things, he beat Jericho in a series and then he lost to Cody. You've got to find where that balance is for Orange. And I think it's above John Silver. I mean, I really like John Silver as a character, but I think Orange Cassidy in ability and how they've portrayed him, he gets the win here.
Respect it. And Tiff just requested this in the chat. So people in the podcast, I've been kindly slowly showing what it is. Johnny Hungy. Dude, John Silver is a fool. Love him. Elijah Washington brought up, where is Brody Lee? I think after Orange, so Orange is my prediction as well with BJ. I think Orange Cassidy picks up the win here, but I think this is where Brody Lee comes back and says, all right, I've been gone long enough and you guys have been screwing around, doing all this stupid stuff. I'm back. And now he's going to have beef with Orange Cassidy. I think that's the next feud for him, for a major feud to happen here. Let's see. Malik is... Yeah, we just answered that, Malik. 2 seconds late. Cassidy wins. If you watch the silver matches, you're going to say, holy cow, they said, BJ. So he said you're going to be impressed, Elijah.
I'm not denying his ability. I just know what they've shown so far. And if we're going from a show standpoint, Orange Cassidy is just on that next tier.
You know what I call this? I call this the temperature check in wrestling. Let's see how good you are as a singles wrestler. That's exactly what that's exactly what I'm looking for from him. Can you show up if you were by yourself? So this is going to be good, I think, though. I'm going with Orange for the win. Let's move on, and this is where things begin to get interesting with the show. Next match I have up here, and this is how stacked this is. Third match, and I'm talking about Chris Jericho versus MJF, that little douchebag prick, all right, who called me cue ball. MJF, I didn't forget, all right? You son of a bitch. How dare you? But he is out here, and he is trying to join the inner circle with Chris Jericho, and Jericho is basically saying MJF is soft, and he wants him to prove himself. Guys, who's your prediction, and what do you do if you are booking this one? Let's start with BJ.
I'm going to go with Jericho. And the reason I'm going with Jericho is he's gotten under the skin of MJF, as we saw on Wednesday with him jumping just from, calling him SAWFT.
So,
and I think MJF, there's a lot of potential with the storyline of him taking over the inner circle. You had mentioned or last night, kind of like how The Rock did with the Nation. But I think it's going to go the other way. I think Jericho is going to win and prove that he's just that much of a dirtier player and make MJF get more aggressive and kind of get more frustrated with things in AEW, since he didn't pick up the win with the world title and then didn't pick up the win against the champion.
Okay. All right. That is a different response than I was expecting to start off with. Ray?
Mine is a little out of the box here, just because I've been thinking what a shocker would be. I'm going with MJF, but I say the inner circle turns on Jericho that night. They cost Jericho. They just see that MJF is an actual youth. He might be a better leader, and this is what the inner circle needs. That Jericho isn't taking it serious anymore. He's been more focused on his jackets, on commentary. They need someone that can match them in the ring and outside of AEW. So I think that's where they should take it that night.
Okay. Jesse, what you got for this?
I think that's an interesting response. There's been a lot of talk about Jericho going full-blown babyface. And that would be different if that happened and Inner Circle turned on Jericho. I don't see it coming. But man, that would be amazing. I still think that MJF is going to take this. If he doesn't win this match, it's going to be because of a dirty antic and maybe Wardlow screwing up again to kind of build for that feud. But I don't see MJF losing this one. But then again, I didn't see him losing against Moxley. So we'll just have to wait and find out.
Interesting. I'm still going to stand by the classic storyline. Once I saw MJF give the picture, I'm an old school fan. I know that you guys are as well. The Rock and Farouk vibes I am getting with this is crazy. And I said it even before the picture thing happened. I said, MJF's about to steal this man's group. MJF will never play second fiddle to anybody. He is conniving. He is a piece of trash, and he will do anything he can to get his way. So I'm still going to stick with he is going to pull the classic card. He's going to do something dirty to Jericho, and Jericho's going to look at the Inner Circle and say, get him. And then he's going to be like, oh, no, brother, get him. And they're going to beat the shit out of Jericho. And Jericho is basically a babyface at this point anyway. The people sing his damn music. All right, so I think it's just time. That's my thoughts on it. So I'm going with MJF to get the victory here. Some way, somehow, he's going to do something dirty. Tiff has fired Ray in the chat, and I have said that Ray is now everything pro wrestling. So welcome to the team, Ray. If you're fired,
I guess I start Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. Take your time off. Ace just said he thinks that Jericho wins and the Inner Circle doesn't need MJF in their group. It sounds too easy to be true. I don't know here. Let's see. Oh, Sonny Peter Avalon gets in the Inner Circle.
That's the swerve we're gonna get. That's it. Peter
Shout
Avalon
out to pretty Peter Avalon. PPA. Elijah Washington says MJF wins by Santana and Ortiz helping MJF to turn on Jericho. Because remember, who MJF penned in the tapped out technically was Ortiz, and nobody came to help him. Here's the interesting thing about that too. Santana and Ortiz really have a gripe with Jericho out of the entire Inner Circle. Jericho infiltrated the tag division, and they weren't getting any matches while him and Hager were slowly climbing up the ladder, and he pushed them down, basically. Just putting it out there. Can we get Wrestle Circus Peter Avalon, though? I don't think they're ready for that yet, Tiff. They're not ready for Peter Avalon. I'm not ready for pretty Peter Avalon once I saw that vignette. I don't even know how Peter Avalon got mentioned on this show. Crazy. Next up, we have the Elite Deletion. Sammy Guevara for Derek, Spanish God, versus Matt Hardy. And I'm wondering what version of Matt Hardy we're going to get here when it comes down to this. Let's start with Jesse for this one.
Well, they've been teasing broken Matt Hardy on BTE a lot, so we could get that version. This one's kind of tough for me, man. I really don't know what to expect out of this match. I just hope that there are no concussions this time around,
bro. These two have had the most like happy accidents of all time of throwing chairs. Then I'm like, oh, this feud is intensified, but then I'm like, that looked worse the next shot. It's just been
I just think that this feud is cursed and it needs to be over with. I'd like to see Matt Hardy take it, but I'm thinking Sammy Guevara is walking away with this one.
Interesting. Okay. Ray, what do you got for this one? And Jesse, you think this is going to be cinematic as well, right?
Yes, actually, I do. It is going to be. And I think that's the best way to play off the broken Matt Hardy gimmick. I think that it will be more entertaining that way, more creative. So we'll just see how, if it's cinematic, then at least we know nobody's getting hurt.
Okay, Ray, what do you got for this one?
I definitely see it. I see it being cinematic. I see the Lake of Reincarnation being used a lot in this match. So to answer which Matt Hardy we see, I say all of them. We definitely are going to start out more of that version 1 Matt that's going to try to be extreme with Sammy. We definitely going to get broken Matt somehow in this match. My gut's telling me Sammy, but at the same time, I think Matt needs to end this feud here. Matt needs to fully delete Sammy Guevara, and who knows where that leads Sammy. I feel like Sammy needs a clean slate right now, and being deleted may be the best thing for him at the moment. So I'm going with Matt on this one.
I see what you did there. BJ, what do you think of this elite deletion match?
Ray was hitting on a lot of the notes I was thinking. I think we're gonna see the multiverse of Matt in this, and if that's by Lake of Reincarnation, then that's great. But if we're doing that, I need to see Sammy dunked and come out with the panda head. I've got to see that come back from the first episode of Dynamite. But I just thought about this while we were going over this card. If the Jericho match is before, Sammy won't be there. If MJF wins and takes over, Sammy and MJF have problems. I'm wondering if two people leave the inner circle, and this is how they get Sammy out, is Matt Hardy deletes him, and then when he shows back up, he is his own.
Yes, because MJF
person.
taking over has a lot of different things that would have to play into part of this. Like, does Swagger go with him? Because he's already got Wardlow. You don't need two heavies. And then you've got what happens with Sammy. But to me, last night, I said it on the AEW stream in the archives if you guys want to watch. I felt Sammy Guevara was working as a babyface. That was just me. He definitely was doing the flips, everything. I'm like, oh, this is old Sammy. What's going on here? He's getting cheered. And a lot of people were really into it. So I don't know. On this one, I'm taking Matt Hardy for the win. I think this is what changes Sammy Guevara into that babyface. And you can kind of explain it without having him be there and just say, well, everything went to crap. And him and Jericho can reunite as Le Sex gods eventually if they needed to. And I think that would get a pop with the hug and everything else. That's just me thinking in the short term. So I'll take Matt Hardy for the dub.
Babyfaceless sex gods could be
a thing. It could be a thing with the bubbly. That's just how you do it, man. Jericho's here to make the bread. I think this will be fun, though. I think this will be a much better cinematic match than the Britt Baker Big Swole one. I think that Matt Hardy is one of the innovators of this, and I hope we see like maybe a few people pop up, like Rebby, maybe Hurricane if he's around, Shane Helms, just a couple people. If they could sprinkle them in, I think that would be really good. Now we're at possibly what I consider the sad point of the show. This is one of the matches that I'm like, do I really want to talk about this one? Because I don't have anything positive to say about the build-up here. AEW Women's Championship match. My girl Hikaru Shida is defending her title against Nyla Rose with Vickie Guerrero. Guys, I ask this question every time we do a damn roundtable. Thoughts on the women's division? Chat, please chime in. I'm pulling them up as you guys bring it up. What do you guys think here of how they're showcasing all of this? Like, is the women's division being shown right? And what improvements would you make to the women's division? Let's start with Ray. We'll go with Ray first.
It's so hard to think about it because they have some of the best women's athletes out there. The booking, though, doesn't match it at all. Like for this pay-per-view, again, we just said it, the NWA women's title is more like, we're looking forward to that more, and it's more important at the moment. This should be, by now, we're months in, we should be wanting to see this women's title match, and it seems like it's just thrown together. There's no story to it. We just got some form of heat on Dynamite this week. It's like, why should I be invested in this match? They need to start actually building towards something, because if not, it makes no sense. I don't even think there's a need to predict this. It's like, why give it to Nyla now? There's nothing that makes us feel like Nyla's taking this belt on Saturday. Like,
but don't you think Vickie Guerrero was put there to enhance Nyla? Like, I feel like it hasn't done anything. It's been a while.
Exactly, though. Like, but the thing is, they're not even given that time to be able to showcase and build her up. Vickie, if they give her some mic time, it'll do something. We just saw her in how many weeks? Like, it makes no sense here.
And I saw Tony said that Vickie was off for personal reasons. He didn't want to share why exactly. He said it had nothing to do with illness or anything like that, but it was personal reasons. So I guess that was part of the reason for why she wasn't there. Jesse, what do you think about this women's division? I think I asked you this on the last show too, though.
It's still a disappointment to me, man. I mean, there's a lot that they can do, but I'm not a booker, man. I mean, I can I can say what I enjoy to watch. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of pointless singles matches going on. I mean, I know this one's for the title, but Nyla's not really getting the buildup that we thought she would get with Vickie.
Well, Jesse, let me say this. You've been watching pro wrestling, though, for a long time. And I think as a fan, you know what works and what doesn't work. What would you add to this if you could pick one thing like that would boost the women's division in your mind?
I don't know. Maybe throw some. I'd hate to say I'm not a big fan of too many gimmick matches, but maybe throw a gimmick match into this or something to make it exciting. It's hard to tell, man. It's really hard to tell. I mean, these women have to play to their strengths in the ring. I mean, so I really couldn't answer that question, man. I mean, I'd like to see Nyla Rose rise up again because she's obviously one of the most dominant women in the division. I mean, it'd be foolish not to have her on the top, but Shida could pull this off. I don't know. I see the match going Vickie, getting involved in some way and Nyla getting the belt back, but I don't see it being an entertaining match at all. It's definitely going to be a bathroom break for me.
Yeah, Elijah brought up a good point. BJ, I promise I'm going to get to you. There were so many good things in this chat. Nyla, he thinks Nyla's going to win, have Shida get injured, Nyla versus Britt Baker next up, and then he said, does it give me Kong versus Kim vibes? I felt like that more so with Riho and Nyla, but it still wasn't as good as Kong versus Kim if we're talking about women's wrestling. Malik Murray said that he thinks AEW needs more legit women like Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, and Bianca Belair. Those would be three excellent choices. I just don't know who's going to want to, do you know what I mean? Like to me, the women's division is open for the taking right now. So if you want to make a name for yourself and be the top of a women's division, maybe AEW is where you want to go, but I don't know. I can't put my finger on what the problems are. Let me see. Tiff just said this division needs CPR. I'm not mad at that at all. Someone just said
agree fully.
Someone said Tessa could do a run-in during all of this. Someone said sign Allison Kay back to the NWA match like we were talking before.
I don't know if they should add anyone else, though. You're adding more chefs to the kitchen here. I think they're full.
Yeah,
I don't think they need anyone else. They need, again, to book them correctly, though. We have some great women there. Where's Diamante? Where's Ivelisse? Where are all these women that, again, we're not seeing? And why are they still like, I feel like we have to mention as well, can the women get some longer matches here? I feel like we're beating a dead horse with that one, but it's like they need longer than 5-minute matches, especially when there's a championship around here.
Well, I've also said something that's probably super unpopular with all of this, which is I'm not putting something on TV, giving it more time if it's not good. Like it's the, you know what I'm saying? It's the minus effects. And I know some people are like, give the women more time. And I'm like, absolutely not. If it sucks, why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. Like you have to prove yourself. Elijah Washington, first person I saw bring this up, have Fit Finley come in and help these women out. Fit Finley did do wonders in WWE and everyone sings his praises. Maybe that's a good idea. I like that. BJ, we've talked a lot here. The floor is yours.
I agree with a lot of the points of bringing in extra people. You might have room for one or two, but you do have quite a big roster when it comes to your women's division for what you're utilizing. I don't know exactly who's entirely over the booking. I know Kenny has a hand in it, and everybody has like their opinions and what they're throwing, but they probably have more broken stories and discontinuation of things in that division than anywhere else. Like Big Swole after the Britt Baker cinematic match, you didn't see her on TV for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then she had the match, and then it was nothing. And it was like, okay, like she's someone that could be prominent. They've brought in people before, like Priscilla Kelly, who they could do a lot with her. And even if they somehow included her in with Darby, since AEW likes to do, managers a lot with, or associates with, their wrestlers, they could do stuff with her. They have a women's roster that's growing. And that is one of the biggest things that like I get into a lot of constant debates and stuff on threads is, yes, some of them might not be as experienced as other rosters on different shows, but you have to allow them to have matches somewhere to give them that spotlight and time. Even if we get tag team matches, we had a women's tag team tournament, but only one of those matches got shown on Dynamite. If we could get like when they first were just doing pay-per-views before Dynamite came along, we had like 2 women's matches. One would be like a singles, and then one was like a tag match or a 6-woman tag. It was to showcase. We still need to do that. And I think they've kind of lost that focus a little bit.
I think that goes into that second show. They need that second show sooner than later because a lot of people are being forgotten about, put on the sidelines too long. Look how long it took them to put Abaddon on TV. And then the week it's Halloween, you finally get ready to use her and poof, she gets hurt. And it's like, what a waste, you know?
I didn't give my prediction on the match. I'll tell you that real quick. And I did have a little bit of insight. I like, because I listen to podcasts and stuff all the time and Busted Open and stuff like that. Nyla was a guest on there today. She explained her Vickie thing. She doesn't think that she needs Vickie, but why not take the extra help for someone to talk so that she can focus on the in-ring? And I thought that was a creative take to it. I think she's going to win and be the first 2-time AEW Women's Champion and start building a feud with someone else.
Somebody, hold on, I have to put some of these up. That's in here, BJ. I'm not laughing at that. Ray's face is like me when I watch Raw. Love it, Elijah. I think AEW second show will definitely help the women's division. I agree, Malik. Vickie Guerrero being GM for the women, they do not need a GM for anything right now at this point. GM is a played out, tired role. Someone said Anna Jay. I don't think Anna Jay is ready for that spot yet because I think they want to give it to her once it's time. I think Shida's winning this, but I think the long-term game is to get the belt on Britt Baker. I think Britt Baker will be the one to defeat Shida, and they're going to let Britt run with the title. The character's over. Take advantage and just see where it goes. Let's see what happens. She turned it around, becoming a heel. But we talked about that for a long time. I love the anger because everyone usually says we're like real positive AEW. I'm like, there's some things, there's some critiquing. So we're here for that. Now, this is the part of the card that I call the this is like the cheese on the cheeseburger. This is when it's starting to get good. This is the delicious part. AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. I know people's hearts are going to be in a bind for this one. Kenny Omega versus Adam Hangman Page whoop both their asses. This is going to be a beast of a matchup. I don't even have a question. I just want to hear predictions and anything you guys would like to add to this. Let us start with, let's go to Jesse.
I think this is going to be the match of the night for me, man. These two are obviously really good friends outside of this camera, and they had to have been working on this build up for quite some time. With being the elites and everything going on there, this one is definitely gonna steal the show for me, man. And I'm gonna go with Kenny Omega.
Solid. Ray.
Oh man, this one is it's so hard because I feel like it can go both ways and there's so many directions it can take. I know my homegirl April, her heart's gonna be out that night. Just because of her list of husbands, both are just gonna make her cry. I had this conversation earlier with Tiff, and I don't see any other way. Hangman needs this win. Yep, she just said it in the chat. There we go. Hangman needs this win. If you don't give it to Hangman now, you built him up for what now? Hangman needs this, and it'll be the perfect way to fully snap Kenny as well. Have Kenny fully go heel after this. And I even said, if you want, have Kenny attack Hangman after the fact. Have him really just go off and fully become the cleaner again. But to pick who wins, I'm going with Hangman Page.
You're going with Page for the dub. Okay. This is bold. I like it. BJ.
Okay, so this one I think I've overworked my brain when trying to figure out who could go to what. It's such it's such a good long-term story. Kenny now back kind of in cleaner mode is he's untouchable in a lot of ways, and if he's truly in cleaner mode, he's got to be at the top of the card. There's nowhere else for cleaner Kenny to be, because it's a joke if you think that he's not going to be at the top. Hangman, though, from like the first pay-per-view with the world title match all the way until now, like this long grind of a story for Hangman. If he gets the win over Kenny and goes on to face Moxley, I don't think Moxley will win. I think it's all Hangman, and then we've got this amazing, like, he's by himself, he's overcome, he's did everything that he needed to do, he fought all of his demons, that kind of stuff. So it's so good either way. It's so good either way, because if Kenny wins, you're going to have a great match, and you're going to still have that Hangman stuff. If Hangman wins, you might have a more evil, cleaner Kenny trying to undermine him while the title. And I think the more I'm teetering on who I want to win or who I think's going to win, I kind of have like my own swerve that I'm thinking may happen. And
please enlighten us with this. I want to hear this.
I think it might be, I know they've had it on Dark and stuff. I think it might be either, I don't want to say a non-finish, but a no contest. Ooh. And possibly set up our first, and I think they should use them sparingly, but our first triple threat match for a title, because in that way, every person would still stay strong, but the story and the layers to it, and as you were talking last night, layers.
That was Derek.
I know. But the layers, he's always about the layers. And it is. They've already layered the story so much. And that the Cinderella playing last night on the story, just, yeah. So I think this big of a match, I know we want a winner, but I think there's so much more to bring to it if no person is a definitive winner.
You just did this with that story. You just stretched that out.
Oof.
I like it. I'm going to go. So Tiff definitely said something before that I agree with her. And I'm not, you know what, Tiff, I can't even find the message. I'll have to scroll all the way back up. But I'm going to say the same thing that we've always said since the beginning. There is a beautiful story here to be told, I think, with Kenny Omega. BJ's idea really has me like wanting to change it, but I'm going to stick with what I wrote down before this. So Kenny Omega's story is a thing of beauty. Me and Tiff have been calling this for, I want to say, since his first title defense, maybe at, what was it, Double or Nothing after? It's Revolution, then Double or Nothing, right? February, then May. I think ever since then, I've been saying the beautiful story is Kenny Omega gets the number one contendership, and he gives Jon Moxley his first singles loss. Moxley debuted. So go all the way back. Hangman and Kenny have been together since the second episode. How did the first episode end? Moxley came back and whooped the hell out of Kenny Omega. Omega needs his revenge, but he has to go to a different side, I think, to get that revenge. And I think Moxley is going to become the victim of a one-winged angel. And I think he's going down from that. And I think Kenny will eventually become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. But what BJ just said could still happen with it. I like it. That was,
oh man, that to me, like, I have so many thoughts now. Like, oh god, this
happens, BJ's getting full credit for that because he's the first person I heard say that.
Definitely, the only problem I feel like not having a finish on a pay-per-view is gonna stir the pot so much with the fans, though. Like, I want to see that three-way, but that's gonna be so.
But right, here's the difference: when you don't do it all the time, it's okay. I don't care then if you give me a double count out once in a while. WrestleManias used to be full of double count outs. I'm like, bro, I paid $50 for this. Why am I seeing double count outs on WrestleMania 5? Come on.
Definitely.
So it could work in this situation. BJ, I got one for you after this, though. I got one after to come back to combat you. Let's talk TNT Championship here. The Ace belt, according to Cody yesterday. And you guys know I'm a big Cody fan. Tiff's probably mad at me right now in the chat, ringing her bell, shaking her fist at me. But The TNT Championship, I think, is very important. So just because it's Tiff, we're going to start off with Ray on this one. We know that we have promises of Team Taz interfering. We also have, this is the layers thing that he's talking about all the time with Cody. So you've got the history with him and Darby going all the way back to Fyter Fest, and Darby just can't get that win. He's had a draw with him, but he can't beat him. And then Team Taz is like offended, and Cage and freaking Ricky Starks and Taz are offended by this match, and they promise to get involved, and I think this will be the match they do it in. Prediction, thoughts, Ray, what do you got for this one?
First, can Cody stop calling it a belt? It's a championship.
Wow.
I'm sorry. It's just the classic person in wrestling. I can't call it a belt. I'm sorry. It's just that little bit of an offensive thing to me. I feel like we're definitely going to see interference. We're going to see a lot of interference from Team Taz, Will Hobbs. We're going to get a lot of shenanigans in this match. But I do see a definite winner, and it's controversial because I know everyone wants to see the new champion here in Darby. I'm going with Cody in this one. I see Cody, but I also see finally Cody Rhodes retaining the TNT Championship.
What I would like to see from this, once you brought up Will Hobbs could probably take out Cage, and then you could have Cody and Darby team up to take out Ricky Starks. There's one thing I have to see. Tony Khan, if you are listening, just send me the thumbs up at EPW show if you got this from me. I want to see Arn Anderson get put in the Taz mission. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I just want to see Arn in the vest laying there like this, like get put in the Taz mission. Very, very different. So who's your prediction on this one, Ray?
I'm still going with Cody. I'm going Cody Rhodes for the win.
Okay. All right. Jesse.
I'm a little confused on it, man, because I kind of see a swerve coming along, man. Darby Allin's the kind of guy that likes to take a lot of pain. This is kind of weird to say, but I kind of feel like Darby Allin is going to be a part of Team Taz, and Cody Rhodes is losing that title.
Oh man, I got Spike Dudley vibes when you said that. The boss, like, that would be very different though. If maybe, so you're saying Darby goes the other way because he realizes like I needed some help to beat that would be different.
I just see a swerve coming on the way that they've been building it. I think
people will hate that, but I think it's different.
I think everybody's gonna hate it.
It would be full circle though. Jesse has something there because Taz did offer his help to Darby long ago. So maybe.
What's up with you guys in the swerves? I like it. We could be a booking team. This would be a good booking team. Like, let's swerve right here. No. I can't do that.
Well, because they promised that they were going to get involved into the match. You know what I mean? But they never really came out. Yeah, they never really came out and said how or who. So,
this is giving me like SummerSlam 92 vibes when like Ric Flair said he was going to interfere or be in someone's corner, like dead serious. And I'm like, well, what are you guys going to do? And Will Hobbs, like you said, X Factor and all of this too. Very different. So your pick to win is Darby then?
It's Darby. Yeah, it's always been Darby. And I think that Cody has came out publicly and said how much he wanted to push Darby to be a top name in the company, and I think this is his chance to show it.
Okay, BJ.
I feel like I'm now like the conspiracy theorist person on this panel, and like I hate that I've like if I've intentionally brought out any swerves if people have thought about it on the way, but like I've kind of got a weird one here too. This is the one that I told you I was going to save for this. You guys mentioned it after I was saying I was going to save it. You guys mentioned it last night, but the layers are everywhere in this story of Sting. They had Darby hanging up in the seats, the high seats, like Sting. I know this is going to sound weird, but they mentioned Cody bulking up, and he's got the blonde hair, and he's cutting all these babyface promos like Sting. Now you're getting possibly Team Taz and Will Hobbs involved, and seeing Arn take the Taz mission would be hilarious. But I see a situation where maybe, because, you know, how we know with a Cody match, everything is added at once. I think you get a ref bump. I think you get multiple people in the ring. You get lights out and lights on, and Sting is there, and Sting makes the save and gets Darby the win against Cody.
I'm laughing at Tiff's responses in the chat. All caps. She is saying put the belt on someone else. She is not a Cody fan. I love Cody here. So I really got to thinking, racking the baldy here. And I was thinking in my mind, what could you do here to tell this story? I don't know about Darby going heel. You bringing that up was very interesting, Jesse. I think that with this, you have all the shenanigans that you do. This is going to be some WCW type shit. If you've never watched, I'm sorry. It's good sometimes, and other times it was really, really bad. So I think here you're going to get all the shenanigans, and I think this is going to cost Darby, whether it's by a roll-up, by some BS, something's going to happen to where Darby loses. He's going to be like, oh, that was bull. What the hell is this? And I think it's going to be on the account of Team Taz. What will happen is Cody and Darby will then join forces to stop them. I think we'll see Cage possibly get a TNT title shot. We'll see Ricky Starks go after the TNT title. They both won't be able to do it. And then Darby's going to say, hey, I've watched your back every single time. You owe me. And I think at Revolution 2, we'll see the rematch. He's going to say, I don't want Arn ringside. I don't want anybody ringside. And they're going to have some type of gimmick match. He's going to say, this is the match where I finally beat you. Boom. Because I feel like Revolution's their big show. They don't really say like what's their big show, but I think Revolution will be the one for Cody and Darby. The rematch will happen. Darby gets the belt there at that moment and get his big moment. That's just my thoughts on it.
I want to interject, if that's okay, for just a second.
Go ahead.
I like your idea a lot. I'll tell you what inspired my Sting idea, other than the symbolism of things. The actual pay-per-view ad talks about all the people who showed up throughout the year for AEW, and is basically making it seem like someone is going to show up at this show who's not a part of this show. And that's why I think it'll be this match, and it'll be Sting.
Oh, man. Chat's going, the chat's everywhere on this one. I think we're seeing a lot of like mixtures of all of us in here.
Which is good though. You want that diversity there. You want the different. The only thing I want to make one last comment, just as a joke. Hearing Sting so much is making me think: do we kind of see two versions of Sting here? We have Cody as Hollywood blonde Sting, with Darby being the face paint Sting here. I just got that image in my head. I'm sorry.
And by the way, Derek's in the chat now too, so he's going to be smiling here. That Derek, your name's been mentioned like 4 times already about layers. So even when you think about those two versions of Sting, that's interesting. But I want to just be the bubble popper possibly here for all of this Sting talk. Just because Sting didn't sign a new contract and his toys got pulled off the shelf doesn't mean that Sting's not going to go back and sign another contract. Maybe he's busy. He's probably selling houses in Florida or California, wherever he is right now. So I don't know if it's safe to assume, but if he shows up, I'll be happy. I'm just going to leave it at that with Sting. Boom. Man, Ryback confirmed. Elijah, stop it right now. Guys, let's talk about the match that I think there's been a lot of hype on, and I kind of want to know if you guys are disappointed by this. I kind of want you to talk about the stipulation, the rumored injury that I kind of tried to post everywhere today that I could and retweet about Matt Jackson having a partial tear in his knee. FTR versus the Bucks. This match has been talked about since before there was an All Elite Wrestling. One day we will wrestle the Young Bucks and everyone will rejoice. All right, so what do you guys think is going to end up happening here for this one? Let's go with Jesse. This is yours first, brother.
Well, first of all, man, I don't think that the buildup was as strong as everybody anticipated it to be. You know, it was a little weak, but is this the match that has the stipulation to where they will not challenge for the tag team titles again?
Yes, it's the Cody stipulation, okay, but on a tag team.
So with that in mind, I think that stipulation is absolutely ridiculous and it's stupid. So I'm hoping that the Young Bucks are taking this, because I don't want to see another situation where, these guys are one of the top tag teams in the world. You know what I mean? You don't want to not have them on top at some point. I don't want them to always be on top, but I don't want them to not have the opportunity as well, man. So I'm hoping that the Young Bucks pull this off. Big mistake by having that stipulation, because as much as I love FTR, I'm going to have to go against them on this one just because of the stipulation. I would like to see FTR retain, but because they threw that stupid shit in there, I'm going to have to go with the Young Bucks on this one.
So, okay. So you feel the stipulation ruined it as well?
Yes. I didn't like the buildup was okay. I just feel like we should have had more, for as big of a match as, because this could have headlined this pay-per-view. This could have been a headliner.
It could have.
The fact that we've been building to this for years, and then they finally have TV time to build up on this match, I just don't think that they pulled the trigger enough on this build up, man. This could have been their key match for the night. And I'm the stipulation once again just kind of threw it off for me. So I think the match will be great. The match is going to be a good match, and I'm going to go with the Young Bucks, or I'm going to hope it's the Young Bucks. I'm not going to, I don't really know who to pick on this one, man, because FTR is top notch, but I'm just going to say that I want the Young Bucks. That's who I want to win.
Ray?
I feel like multiple things ruin this matchup. Like, this should be, again, like main event caliber. We've been building this for the better sake of 5 years now. Like, this matchup has been the dream match, so talked about. And this matchup did not need the championships. This matchup doesn't need that stipulation in there. This match alone had the story. It could have been built a little longer, but again, we've been waiting for 5 years now. It sucks that because of that stipulation, you kind of have to think the Young Bucks have to win this. There's no other way, because, okay, so now are none of the elite going to get title shots? Like, are we just going to keep like, no, if I lose, I can't get a title shot. If I lose, we can't get a title shot. It's so much. But to keep it interesting, though, I will say I think the Matt injury is fake. I think Matt's fine. I think he's selling it so much just so it comes into play during that matchup, and it helps for a roll-up. I think FTR is finally going to feel some sort of sympathy, like, oh, man, okay, let's not try to win when they're, like, half injured there, and now give them the opportunity to get the win. So I am going with the Young Bucks here. I just feel like it should have been a better match. We were looking for something better.
Yeah, you know what? Before I go to you, BJ, I gotta shit on the stipulation a little bit. I feel like when Cody did it, it made sense. Like, it was about Cody's father. That worked. Now that the Bucks are doing it, I feel like this is the full gear stipulation. I'm like, Kenny or Hangman better do it next year then. If I don't win, I'm done. I won't challenge for the title anymore. It just puts everything in such a weird spot. BJ, what do you think on this one?
Well, I agree with you on that with the stipulation. I agree with everybody. Where you mentioned earlier with Hangman and Kenny being the cheese on the cheeseburger, this matchup over time and with situations pending Matt's injury is legit, has become like the soggy tomato. On the burger.
Harsh. Go ahead, get into this.
Well, so I want to see it. I think FTR coming in was big for AEW. It made a big statement. It helped with some ratings. Maybe could have been bigger if we legit waited until there were crowds. But I understand people want to wrestle. Let them wrestle. They need, to make a living. So I get it. I get that whole, that's an unfortunate circumstance. But as Jesse said, with the timing, and you had all this time, and it didn't feel like it had enough attention drawn to those two teams against each other enough without it being all these extra things. Like, we dealt with the Kenny and Hangman situation first with dealing with them. We even got a taste of that here on AEW this week. We've dealt with now Matt having maybe a legit, maybe not a legit injury. I'm taking it as legit now, but I like what Ray was saying about, this just being a work to help add for the story. And then the stipulation, with you saying the stipulation being, is this just Full Gear every year? When they said it, I'm like, no, this was not the right time. They keep teetering back and forth on whether the Bucks are faces or heels. And I know that they were going towards heel, and I think they're going to stay that way. But I think it's easy to write yourself out of this situation the same way with with Cody. Cody's a face. I'm sticking true to my word. But he could easily just turn heel and say, I'm an EVP. I'm the one that made that rule. I'm taking it away. The Bucks could do the same, and it would be in the vein of heel Bucks to do that. So I think in this match, if I'm going with the injury being legit, I'm upset because I feel like this match got cursed from years ago, all this build up to finally getting here, and now someone's hurt. I think FTR wins and retains. I think that takes the Bucks off TV for a little bit if Matt, for Matt's injury to heal up, and then we come back to it.
Okay. Very interesting. I'm going to provide my minor swerve idea for this as well. Because you have the whole aspect. I see people talking about Kenny, and I do think Kenny and the Bucks, listen, I don't care what anyone says. Anytime you thought they were going to split, these three are as thick as thieves, no matter what happens. And I feel like they are the new day of AEW. These three will stick together. They will always get your ass no matter what. Now, when you see this, how can you get out of this? Because if Matt's knee injury is legit, you cannot put the titles on them for the long term because he's going to need to go out. You're forcing yourself to do this matchup. And I believe it was Shabazz in the chat said, why is this a dream match? I get it, why a lot of people want to see it. I think FTR represent the old school part of pro wrestling, and the Young Bucks are the new school, like tag team pro wrestling. And they're going to clash, and the styles are going to clash, and hopefully it's great. But I think the beauty in this match isn't just one match. This isn't like the Hogan Flair one time you're going to see it and it's done. I think this is going to be, they will get better with more and more and more matches. So why not let this be a long-term feud? I think a lot of people are just seeing this as a dream match and a one and done. Let these guys have some matches on Dynamite. Who's to say that the Bucks can't drop them here and then lose them back really quick? If any match could use a DQ outing, I think this would be it. Imagine the Young Bucks hit the Meltzer driver 1, 2. That old son of a bitch, Tessa Blanchard, hit someone with the belt across the back. We're out of here, boys. Let's go. That's old school tag team wrestling, in my opinion. The Bucks win, but they don't have the titles. And you can kind of walk away from it. And like I said, if you don't do it all the time, I'm cool with it. If I see it on every match or every show, then we got problems. I think it's a good out for this one. I'm taking the Young Bucks to win, but not the titles.
Can I ask you a question? We can extend this to everybody if you want. Not trying to
roundtable, brother. We do what we want.
If Matt's injury is legit, because it's what they're reporting it as is pretty serious. Like, I mean, it could cause a lot of problems if he's working on it. Would anybody at this point, because of the way it's been, be upset if they said, no, we can't have this match on Saturday that Matt is hurt? Because I feel like it's a good way to give us a longer time if Matt is hurt and they take it away.
Right.
Absolutely not. I kind of hope that happens. So we can get more of a build, take that stipulation away.
Who's to say they don't catch him backstage too? Why not have a beatdown backstage? They do that, and then it's like, well, we're out of here, boys. And then someone could say, where do you guys think you're going? You guys have a match. It's on the whiteboard back there. You could just have an official say that, like Jerry Lynn or somebody. There's a match on the board. What are you guys talking about? Who are we facing? It doesn't say. It says mystery team now. And then all of a sudden, maybe Private Party comes out and Private Party gets a shot on pay-per-view. I'm just throwing it out there. You could put anybody in there, though, and just say, hey, go out there and have a great match with FTR. Go deliver.
Best friends.
SCU, yeah. Yeah, you could put anybody in there, man. There's a lot of opportunity to do something here. Did anybody else want to respond to that?
I definitely want to say it would be perfect right now because I feel like, again, we need a longer build. And I think that would be perfect to just extend it a little longer. If the injury is legit, then Matt shouldn't work on it. We've been waiting for this matchup for so long. We can wait a little longer just to get a full matchup there. Like, I wouldn't mind the wait. But hey, Conrad, you mentioned them. I wouldn't mind either getting Private Party on pay-per-view. It might just be the bias, though, because they're my bros. I don't know.
Hey, listen, represent that HOG life, brother. Listen,
have to.
Check out House for Glory. But we're talking about things to cut from matches. This is the perfect time to cut something out of your life. And you can use Manscaped, the Lawnmower 3.0 to do that. If you guys go to manscaped.com, use my promo code EPW Show. You guys can save 20% and get free delivery. You guys can use the same promo code at powerslam.tv. I don't have the graphics up today. We're just going to give you guys the promo codes. EPW Show, 1 free month, independent wrestling. Watch whoever you want on me. Get 1 month free. And if you like the service, sign up for it. Just tell them I sent you everything pro wrestling. And guys, it is main event time. It's time to talk about the AEW World Title match, the I Quit match between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. I think this match is going to be brutal. I think that a lot of violence is going to be in this match. If you have never seen what they used to do, these two, if you're not familiar with Eddie Kingston from the old school days of Ring of Honor, you don't know. And his work on the indies, same thing with Moxley. These guys go way back and they are good friends. I think when we were talking about the tag team match being in the main event, it could have been. But I think this match rose up to the occasion every week. Great promo. And then last night I was like, I don't know if they're going to be able to top this promo. They did it. Talking about people's mothers at the kitchen table. You don't do that, dog. You just don't bring up those conversations. So this is going to be a good one. Jesse, we're starting off with you in this one. The AEW World Title match. Give me your feelings on the match. Maybe Moxley's title reign. What do you want to talk about with this one? And then give us your prediction.
Well, Moxley's title reign has been pretty good. It's actually something that I wanted Chris Jericho to do since the start. I wanted that title to be held for a couple of years before it was dropped. You know what I mean? So we're not tossing back and forth this title to make it prestigious. I feel like Jon Moxley has done a pretty good job at that. The match is tricky because it's an I Quit match. You got two guys that are just brutal, and it's really hard to think that either one of them are going to say I quit in this match. I think the way that the match is going to end is going to be just kind of like just a tap. You know what I mean? They're going to, I don't think anybody's going to say I quit in this match. But my prediction is Jon Moxley is going to retain this title.
Weird question for you, Jesse. How do you like your I Quit matches? Like, do you like them just submission based and the refs asking? Do you like the microphone in the pocket kind of ordeal running around? Like, do you quit?
Well, it's a little annoying. So I'm not a huge fan of that gimmick match. It just depends on how it's done. Creatively, I think that Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston have what it takes to make a good I Quit match. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. I'm not a big fan of the I Quit every 5 seconds or every move, you know what I mean, on the microphone. But I mean, I think that's inevitable. I think that's going to happen. Hopefully they don't have the microphone and it's just the referee kind of in their face and asking them, you know, do you quit? Do you quit? I don't think that anybody's going to say I quit, though. I just don't see that happening in this match. I don't know. I think it's going to be a tap on the ground.
Okay.
I think it is going to be submission based this time.
Ray.
Oof. This feud is another one, man, that it's hard because I want to be biased. I want to give it to Eddie here. Like, especially the stuff you brought up, Conrad. Like, again, these two have known each other for years. They've done so much. If you've not watched Eddie Kingston ROH and not heard his promos, man, like he's gotten better with age and it just keeps getting better. It's like a fine wine, basically. Like Eddie Kingston would definitely help prove God forgives, but he doesn't. And this matchup, I don't even think it's going to be a tap out. I think it's going to be referee's discretion on Saturday. someone's going to get knocked out and they're going to have to stop the match. Neither of those two will tap. Neither of those two are going to be able to say, I quit. They're two.
I actually like that idea a lot better.
They're two guys that just won't quit. They won't. Eddie's going to have to be knocked out. John is going to have to be knocked out. And I think Eddie's going to knock him out. There's no other way I could see it. I think Eddie Kingston is going to be your champion after Saturday. And I know that it's so hard to see because you think John has been that guy. He's been the poster boy now for AEW for a while. But I think Eddie sold this story so well. It's his time. It's finally his time. He's going to bring that championship home to his mama and just prove it on Saturday.
BJ, what do you got for this main event?
Well, I like that even up until this week, I was kind of like, I don't know if this world title match is going to be strong enough to end, but I like to stick to the principle, and I think good booking dictates your world title is your main event. Like, that should be the most important thing. And so even though we've got all these great matches, I didn't know until that promo. Like, the promo work has been good, but the in-ring between them this week, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good for a main event. This is going to be a brawl. This is going to go all over the place. I think they will have a mixture of maybe the ref asking and them having mics just to draw, like, while they're beating the other person down, you know, yelling in their face, quit, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't think Moxley is losing, but with the same regard of you have to kill me, I'm not going to quit, saying, you know, from Eddie, I think he's going to quit, but not him. I don't think he's going to say it. I don't think like with Taz and them throwing in the towel with like Brian Cage, I think his best friend, Penta, is going to make the ref acknowledge it as he's quit. And that can build to my best friend ruined my chance since he's always got a reason as to why he didn't win.
Elijah just came in here with something very different. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he definitely brought up Pac. Pac, the first thing you heard in his promo was, "Where's your little British friend now?" And then he was going crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if he takes away something from him, like, you know, the whole, oh, he was reaching for the chair that he was going to use to put Moxley away, and then Pac takes it away and is like, no, my friend, you took my friends away. Do it on your own. And then Moxley finally gets him. You could tell a great story with this match. I feel like I'm with Ray on this one a little bit. When we look back at this, if Eddie Kingston doesn't win the championship, this is going to be that moment we're all going to say, you could have gave him the belt right here and did whatever you were going to do with Moxley with him instead. Yeah, I don't know. And Moxley's title reign, I feel like when Jericho first got the belt, Jericho was the champion to like bring the eyes to AEW. Moxley has put in, he's the workhorse. He has shown you this is what you need to be doing if you want to be the champ. You need to be on the show every week. You need to go out there and have some of the best matches. You need to go out there and crush it. And for someone who said like WWE never gave me the chance, I'm going to agree with Dave Meltzer for once. And I'm going to say, like Meltzer said, you have to back that up once you say something like that. And I think Jon Moxley has. He has said they were holding me back. I will absolutely agree. Now he has proven it with this promo work throughout all of this. Really dope. And Elijah Washington says, someone please sign BJ to AEW or WWE because that makes perfect sense. I like it. I've got nothing to add to this, boys. Going through all of this, I think it's going to be a hell of a show on Saturday. We're going to be doing a review for the show, so make sure you guys come in after the pay-per-view goes off air. We will be live for the show, so just hit the subscribe button if you are interested in hearing our banter about that. One more time, guys, I have to thank you guys for coming on here, especially Ray last minute. But Jesse, BJ, you guys are awesome. Me and BJ have been talking about this for years, like doing a show together, and I think this felt really good to do a show with you guys. Jesse's always awesome to have on. Love his thoughts and insight. This was fun. I have fun doing this one. But if you guys want to plug your stuff one more time, and then we will get ready to ride on out of here. Let's go ahead. Let's start with BJ.
Run the Ropes. or Run the Ropes RTR. That's our Twitter and our Instagram. We have a like page on Facebook and a group page that we do discussions for threads for the shows each week. And we're, like I mentioned at the beginning, pandemic kind of, slowed some things down, but we're trying to pick back up steam and going. So check us out. And I'm at Everyone Loves a BJ on Twitter. And yeah, Conrad, thank you for having me on. Ray, Jesse, it was great meeting and talking with you guys. I'm hopeful that I'll be back on here again, other than just in the chats on the reviews and stuff. But thank you guys again. And I'm ready for full gear.
Best Twitter handle, by the way. Best Twitter handle. Ray.
Guys, you can check me out again. Everything is Ray_Ramundo. That is on Twitch. That is on YouTube. On YouTube, you can catch me interviewing some great friends that I have that are actually a part of the business as well. On Twitch, you can catch the gaming. I do Dream Cards. Conrad has been in the chat for that and has seen some interesting bookings. So if you want to check it out, again, Ray_Ramundo. You can follow me on all the socials. It is Ray_Ramundo. And check me out on the No Holds Barred Network. There we do interviews, reviews, and all of that great stuff as well. Conrad, thank you again for having me. Again, that hot tag, man, that hot tag right at the end. I hope to definitely come back. And BJ and Jesse, it's been a pleasure as well, guys. It was awesome.
Jesse.
Yeah, man, you guys can follow the Pro Wrestling Shoot on Facebook and Instagram at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. You can follow me on Twitter at Carter Inc., CARDERINC. Not much else to say, man. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere you can get podcasts. We do pre-record. We don't do live. So just come check us out, man. Talk some wrestling with us. Guys, it was a pleasure meeting you. Conrad, always a pleasure to be on the show, man. I appreciate everything, dude.
I appreciate you guys. If you guys are interested in hearing about the AEW video game, we plan on talking about that and Dynamite next week. There's going to be a lot of AEW talk on the channel, and we've got Survivor Series coming up for you WWE fans. So make sure you guys are locked in. Hit the subscribe button, like, and if you guys watched all of this, leave me a comment down below. I will respond to you because I want to hear what you think of this entire card. For myself and the entire group here for the Roundtable, we are out. Thank you. Peace.